The Ninth Legion marched beneath the gray skies of an empire that ruled the world. Their armor shone like iron fire, their discipline as sharp as their blades. Formed generations earlier, they had fought in Spain, in Gaul, in the burning sands of Africa. Now they were sent to the edge of the earth, to Britannia, a land of rain, mist, and rebellion.
Centuria,
the banners of
march!
Rome cut through the northern
By the
wind.
glory of Rome.
Thousands of men, European
Look at
faces
them.
hardened by war,
Truly
marched in
invincible.
perfect silence. Their red cloaks snapped in the cold. Their boots struck the frozen ground in rhythm. At the front, the golden eagle of the ninth gleamed against the dark clouds, the very symbol of order in a world of chaos. Behind it, centurions barked command, their voices echoing over the moors like thunder. They were more than soldiers. They were Rome itself.
We push
Wherever
north
they
through
went,
this
roads were
uncharted
carved,
territory.
altars
There is no
raised,
other
laws
route if we
written.
are to reach the river by
Civilization
winter.
followed their shadow. Yet as they moved north, past the Great Wall built to hold back the wild tribes, the world began to change. The stone roads ended, the hills grew barren. Smoke from unseen fires drifted across the valleys. At night, the Legion camped in precise squares, every tent aligned as if drawn by compass. Fires burned low, shields stacked, spears standing upright like a forest of iron. The men spoke little. The wind carried strange cries from beyond the ridges, the sound of drums, then silence. Some said it was only the wind. Others whispered that the northern gods were watching. In his tent, the commander of the Ninth traced their route on a wax tablet. His eyes lingered on the blank space beyond the wall, uncharted, nameless. He had been ordered to march north and crush the tribes who defied the empire. Yet even he felt the weight of the unknowns pressing from the mist. Outside, snow began to fall, settling on helmets and spears. The Legion's fires flickered against the darkness, small islands of light in a sea of shadow. When morning came, they would march again, into the land that Rome would never see again. Beyond the wall, the world turned silent. The roads ended in mud and heather, and the forest swallowed sound like a living thing. The Ninth Legion advanced cautiously, their armor darkened with rain, breath steaming in the cold. The wind howled through the high moors, carrying with it the scent of heat smoke and death. Each day they marched deeper into a land that seemed to reject them. Their maps showed nothing, only blankness where the northern tribes lived. The men muttered about spirits that walked the marshes, about faces seen between trees. At night they built their camp beside black lakes, their fires mirrored on still water. The mist crept in and hid the world until even the sentries vanished from sight. The commander ordered silence. No horns,
Secure
no
the ropes.
drums, only the steady heartbeat
Hammer
of
those
boots and
stakes deeper.
shields. The Legion became a ghost of its own making, moving through fog like a single creature of bronze and discipline. Wolves followed their trail, eyes glowing in the dark. Sometimes they found the remnants of villages, charred timbers, empty huts, food left uneaten, no bodies, no voices. The enemy watched, but did not strike. The men grew restless, sleep haunted by whispering winds that sounded like chanting. One centurion
By earth and
swore
sky,
he saw figures
protect
moving
us
in
from
the
this
mist,
evil.
painted in blue, naked to the waist, vanishing when torches flared. Rain fell for weeks, their armor rusted, cloaks stiff with cold. Yet still they marched north, toward the mountains where the sky never cleared.
It's still
Each
warm.
step took them
Look at these
farther from the
footprints
empire,
heading into the woods.
from the
We
known
can't be
world,
far.
from light itself.
We should move carefully.
At dusk, they reached a narrow valley where the river coiled like a snake between cliffs. The commander raised his hand. Halt. The hills were too quiet. The men formed ranks, shields lifted, eyes searching the fog. The wind died. For a heartbeat, the world stood still, and from somewhere ahead came the first sound of the drums. The fog thickened until the world turned to shadow. The men of the Ninth marched in silence, the sound of their boots muffled by the wet earth. Only the drums guided them forward, slow, distant, hollow. Then the drums stopped. A javelin struck the first round. Another tore through a vantage. From the cliffs above came a scream, sharp, inhuman, followed by a storm of spears. The fog exploded with movement. Dark figures surged from every side. The painted tribes of the north, bodies covered in ash and blue woad, eyes burning in the mist. Their shouts echoed through the valley like thunder. The Romans closed ranks, shields locking, blades drawn. For a moment they held the line, bronze glinting through the fog. But the enemy was everywhere, unseen, soundless until the strike. Rocks rolled from above, crushing men and horses. Trumpets blared too late. Orders drowned in screams. The formation broke. In the chaos, the eagle of the ninth shone above the heads of the dying, raised high by its bearer, then lost in the smoke. Men fought blindly, hacking at shadows. The commander's voice called out, steady even as arrows tore through his ranks. Hold the line! Hold the... The sound was cut off by a crash of shields and the hiss of 1,000 blades. Minutes stretched into eternity. Then the fog began to thin. The drums fell silent once more. The valley was empty. The echo of battle faded to the hills. Where the legion had stood, only mist and broken spears remained. The wind rose, carrying the faint sound of distant chanting. Crows circled above the ravine. A single golden eagle standard lay half buried in the mud, its wings bent, its light dimming beneath the cold rain. By dusk, even that was gone, swallowed by the mist as if the Ninth Legion had never existed. Days passed. The northern wing carried no sound of men, no echo of steel. The land beyond the wall grew still again, as if the earth itself had swallowed the legion whole. The scouts who rode north found only fog, trampled mud, and the faint smell of smoke. When they returned, they said there were no bodies, only emptiness. In a small fortress on the Roman side, the commander of the frontier waited for word. None came. Messengers vanished into the mist and did not return. Campfires burned lower each night. Even the veterans spoke in whispers,
They
as
broke
if
the line
afraid
at
that
the
the
wall.
darkness might answer.
We estimate 3,000 strong,
Weeks
maybe more.
became months.
They move fast.
The wall remained quiet, then winter arrived, and snow covered everything the Ninth had touched. Their names were erased from rosters, their banners taken down from the barracks. Rome did not speak of them again. Far to the north, stories spread among the tribes. They spoke of pale men in iron, wandering the moors in silence, their eyes like dead glass. Farmers claimed that on cold nights they heard footsteps marching in the fog, slow and distant. Others said that strange fires glowed in the valleys, moving like spirits of war. In temples along the frontier, priests prayed for the souls of the lost, though none dared name them. The empire simply closed its records and moved on, as it always did. Another legion would take their number, another generation would march beneath the same eagle, but the shadow remained. At dusk, when the last outpost extinguished its torches, the northern horizon still glimmered faintly red. Whether it was fire or sunset or something else entirely,
Hold the line, you
no
dogs!
one could tell.
Ha! You can't
Beyond
catch
the
me.
wall, the land lay untouched and waiting. And in that endless mist, the march of the Ninth never truly ended. Night fell over the northern highlands, and the wind carried only the sound of the heather brushing against stone. The Romans never returned, not one man, not one horse, not even the shadow of a standard. And yet, something of them remained in that land, not their weapons nor their graves, but the echo of their discipline, their will, their march. The tribes told stories to their children of warriors of iron who came from the south and vanished into the mist. They said the mountains drank their blood and the gods took their souls to guard the borders of the world. On nights when the fog rose thick and pale, hunters heard the steady rhythm of marching feet on the hills, slow, heavy, endless. No one dared to follow. No one dared to speak their name. Centuries passed. Empires rose and fell. The wall crumbled. Roads sank beneath the moss and the forest returned. The wind erased every Latin word carved in stone. But the land itself remembered. In the frozen valleys, the soil still hid broken spearheads, rings, and the rusted bones of shields. The rivers that once reflected the light of Roman fires now ran black under the same cold sky. And in that silence, the ninth still walked, no longer men of flesh, but ghosts of obedience, bound to the order that had given them purpose.
They came from
they
the
marched
north,
without
children,
trumpet or drum,
led by the
without
giant
empire or
King
home.
Bran.
Their armor
Beyond
no longer
that
gleamed,
darkness,
their faces no longer bore names, yet their steps never ceased. Some nights, the northern lights danced over the horizon, painting the clouds in red and gold, the colors of Rome. The peasants who saw it said it was the spirit of the Legion, lighting its torches once again. Others whispered that the gods had turned them into watchers, guarding the threshold between the living and the forgotten. In Rome itself, their story faded into dust. The scribes scratched new numbers in the rosters. New victories filled the scrolls. But one emperor, it was said, dreamed each night of men marching into fog, thousands of shadows disappearing into white. He woke with the sound of iron and the smell of rain, as if the dead had passed through his chamber and left only silence. The myth grew. Some believed that the ninth had not died, but had crossed into another world, a place where wars never end and the banners never fall. A punishment or a reward, no one knew. But in every tale, they kept marching, as if Rome itself had condemned them to repeat their final step forever. And so, in the midst of Caledonia, where no sun warms the earth and no bird dares to sing, their phantom army still advances. Their shields glint faintly in the half-light. Their breath drifts into the cold. They march through centuries, unseen, unheard, eternal soldiers of an empire that forgot their names. At dawn, when the fog thins for a heartbeat, shepherds sometimes glimpse the line of helmets on the ridge just before it fades again. No sound, no cry, only the faint shimmer of bronze, moving through the clouds, then all is still. The wind returns, carrying a whisper in the old tongue, words long dead echoing from beyond time. It is not a prayer, it is a command. Advance. And once more, the mist closes. The earth trembles beneath the weight of a legion that never found its way home.